For the past few days, as I've been scrolling through social media, it has reminded me that I should learn to appreciate, you know. So it's like it has reminded me about the importance of being content with what you have or where you come from or what you've been given, you know. So I learned something today that you never chose your your tribe. You never chose your family background. You never chose to be born in that country that you're in right now. It's like you never chose that, but then you've been placed where you are right now by God. So it has been God's will for you to be where you are right now. And it actually draws me back to what the Bible says, that for I knew you even before you were formed in your mother's womb. This is so interesting because God knew us even before we were formed in our mother's womb. So when we are brought to earth, the moment we were born, we never chose to be born, but then God, by His grace, He brought us to earth. So it's very important to embrace where we come from, to embrace what we have, to embrace who we are. I understand that life does throw in its obstacles, and you get to a point where you find it hard to appreciate your background. You find it hard to appreciate your family. You find it hard to appreciate the current state in which you are in right now, or you find it hard to appreciate what you've been granted or given. Yes, it happens, but then it's important to just grow up and get to understand that you are where you are because of God's will. God placed you where you are right now, and it's important to appreciate His works. Why? Because God said that, for I know the plans I have for you. The plans that I have for you are not to harm you, but to prosper you and give you a future. So it's important to learn to appreciate, man. Be content with what you have. I'm not saying you should stop working towards your goals and stuff. No, don't. There are situations that can be changed. There are situations that are beyond our control, which actually require us to actually just appreciate. So like, yeah, man, it's very important that as a young person, you should learn to appreciate, be aware of your surroundings, be aware of your world within, be aware of the circumstances that you come across. Sometimes things might not make any sense. Sometimes you might question yourself, ask yourself questions like, why am I here? Why is this happening to me? Why is this going on? This, that, etc. But then at the end of the day, it's very important to sometimes like just appreciate where you are, appreciate what you have. You understand? So that's basically what I've learned, what I've been learning recently through social media, that it's important to appreciate what you have. Like, I'm not saying you should compare, and I'm not saying you should compare, or it's actually your fault when someone doesn't have everything, or when someone sort of like lacks something. It's not your fault for when other people are lacking, actually not having enough food, not having shelter. It's not your fault. But then I feel like with that, those people, it does not make them any less, to be honest. God has a plan for them too. God has a plan for everyone, right? So Basically, in summary, I just want to remind you, mate, that learn to appreciate what you have, man. Learn to appreciate. Stop complaining and don't compare yourself to other people. Things will never be the same. It will never be the same. But then at the end of the day, it is God's will. God has a plan. God knows what He's doing. He knows us. He knows what's best for us. The Bible says that all things work together for good for those who love God. So just keep on trusting in the Lord with all your heart and appreciating and giving thanks in all circumstances. The Bible says that be grateful, be thankful, give thanks to the Lord in all circumstances, regardless of where you are right now. Just stand up and say, God, I thank you. So yeah, man, I don't even know how to even put this, but then appreciate what you have, man. Be grateful for everything, regardless of the circumstance. Be grateful. It's important to be grateful, to be thankful, and appreciate. So yeah, man, that's basically it. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In whatever you do, acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. Cheers.